patchy, Stallion? Okay.
In blah. So I'm aware it's been about 2 years. Don't really have an excuse for that. Sorry, but better late than never. So without further ado, I'm just gonna crack on and start going through a list of questions and also just summarising my journey. So what I went on was quite a strong, intense medication called ROACCUTANE. You have to have shown willing to try other products through your doctors. So for example, I tried a lot of antibiotics, a lot of creams, none of them worked, and this was all down on my records. You do have to be referred, in the UK anyway, you have to be referred to your dermatologist, which will be in the NHS. So that's how you get on it. There's a lot of side effects with this medication, which is why it's quite an intense medication. You're monitored quite well in terms of you have to go to a monthly appointment just to check up on your mental well-being, how your skin's getting on, if you want to increase or decrease the dose of the medication that you're on. And also you have to do pregnancy tests and blood tests as well. It's a medication that will affect your mental health, your cholesterol levels, and also you cannot get pregnant on it because it can have some really bad effects on the baby. So just make sure that when you go and start looking into this medication, you look at everything. You really need to do your research, and it is so important to be fully informed before you make the decision to go on it. Obviously, pros and cons for everyone. Everyone reacts so differently to the medication. So like I said, you need to do your research, be 100% confident that this is your last resort, and also be 100% comfortable going on the medication. I was on the medication for around 6 months, I think it was in the end, and I think I upped my dose 2 or 3 times. That'll all be in my other videos that I filmed before this, because I did monthly updates, so that's all in there if you want to go and take a watch and see how I got on. But my side effects did get worse as I went through the process, and my skin did get worse before it got better. So make sure you prepare yourself for that. It's not a miracle drug. It's not going to, you know, after a month of taking it, your skin's going to look amazing. Some people are on it for a year before they start to see results. I was lucky enough that I think it was around the 5-month mark, I had started to completely clear up, and I took the decision to stay on the medication for an extra month and do the 6th month just to guarantee that my acne was gone. Would I recommend the medication? 100%. If you have done your research, if you're a suitable candidate for it, 100%. You do have to persevere with it. Like I said, it gets worse before it gets better, but it is so worth it. If you have acne, you know how awful that can make you feel anyway. You know, I was having ups and downs before I even went on the medication. Some days I wouldn't really want to leave the house because my acne was that bad. I always wanted to have full coverage makeup on whenever I wore makeup. I was quite good with letting my skin breathe. I've never really been the type of person to care too much about what people think about me. So on a good day, I would be comfortable to go out with no makeup on. But it was always in the back of my head. And if I had the time and the patience, I would put a full face of foundation on just to cover the spots. If you live with acne and it's affecting your quality of life, 100% do your research and maybe just go and speak to your GP. They can advise you on if it's suitable for you or not, and then you can take the further steps if necessary. So when I came off the medication, I did have scarring. That is partly down to the fact that I was a picker. I would pick my spots, as bad as that is, and I would say don't pick your spots if you can help it, but I did. So I have quite a lot of scarring, and it does take quite a while for that to, you know, repair itself. Make yourself aware that that will be the next stage of removing your acne. You know, you might get rid of all the active acne and all the spots, but you're then going to be left with a little bit of scarring. So just make sure that you're aware that that is the case. I am going to go through some of the questions that I've been asked on Instagram. Hopefully these will answer anything that I haven't covered already and help some of you guys out as well. So the first question is, did my acne come back? The answer to that is no. I'm so happy to say that my acne has completely gone. It is very rare that I even get a single spot. If I get a spot, it will be about once a month around my period. It will be if I've been eating really badly, if I've had a really heavy night drinking, maybe I'd have a couple of spots. But compared to what my skin looked like before, which I'll put a picture up just for anyone who doesn't know, my skin is amazing now. Like, I'm so happy. I couldn't have had a better result, to be honest. I am just over the moon with how much better my skin is now. Like, I'm a completely different person to what I was, you know, when I was living with acne, and it's a really shit thing to have, like, for anyone. So no, my spots did not come back, which is why I really would encourage anyone with acne to have a look into this medication. Second question is, how did you get rid of scarring? Have you got any tips? Scarring is one of those things that is different for everyone, and it just takes time. Time is the best way to solve the problem of scarring. Your skin just needs to repair itself in its own rate and recover, basically, from all the harsh effects that the medication and any spot creams have had on your skin. Obviously, there are still things that you can do for scarring. So top thing that I would recommend is to talk to a dermatologist. I did go to a dermatologist where I live, and what they will do is they'll look at your skin and they will determine what types of scarring you have, because there are different types of scarring and they should all be treated differently. So I was recommended a few different treatments. Please be aware these are quite expensive. Most of them started at £200 per session, so it is an expensive thing to do, but if it really does bother you enough, then, you know, it might be worth it. But definitely talk to a dermatologist and figure out what kind of scarring you have. I also went local and I had a Dermapen facial. So for anyone who doesn't know what a Dermapen facial is, basically needles that they'll damage your skin in order to get your skin to repair itself. Will help with things like scarring, acne, pigmentation, wrinkles, fine lines, etc. So it is an all-round good facial to have. Again, it is quite an expensive facial, and you can't just have one of them. You have got to be prepared to pay, you know, for maybe 4 sessions before you start to see a result. But again, everyone is different. I get asked a lot about how it felt to have the Dermapen facial done. So I went with DM Aesthetics. She is local to Northampton, and she also does other clinics for her aesthetic fillers. With Danielle, she will numb your whole face before doing the treatment. That will just help with any sensitivity. I think I was only in there for about 15-20 minutes whole. It's quite a quick facial. When I talk to people about it, I would say it's not painful, but in some areas it's a little bit uncomfortable. If you're scared about that aspect, don't be. Danielle is really lovely, and she'll talk you through the whole process, and she's really reassuring as well. So I'd highly recommend that. I have spoken to Danielle, and she does a few packages for the Dermapen facial and also the Hydrafacial. Hydrafacial is great if you are recovering from ROACCUTANE, because it will just pump hydration into the skin, which you're really going to need because your skin dries out like mad. So beneficial to have a hydrating facial every now and then, just to help your skin recover. So a couple of other things that I do for scarring is I do some skin peels. So I have a product from Ordinary. It's a skin peel, it's the red one, and it kind of tingles when you put it on. That's great for when you have recovered fully from ROACCUTANE. You should not be using any kind of peels whilst you're on the medication or whilst your skin is recovering after the medication. It's just too harsh. Your skin will really react to that, and it will do it no good at all. A skin peel every now and then will really help for the new skin cells to surface, and over time your scarring will be reduced. It also just helps to give you a bit more of a glowy, fresh look to your skin. Another thing that some people have asked me about is the dermaplaning. So this is when a blade basically removes the peach fuzz on your face. Does it help with scarring? In my opinion, no, but it does help give you a brighter complexion. So it makes your skin look better, a little bit healthier, and it will take away the appearance of bad scarring. Another question is the products that I was using on ROACCUTANE. As I've mentioned before, there are a lot of side effects that come with the medication. So things like dry skin, chapped lips, split lips, dry skin on your whole body, things like that you really want to stay on top of when you're on the medication, and finding the right products for you is key to getting through the meds. My top product that I would recommend to anyone going on medication is Blistex lip cream. It's in a foil tube. I'll put up a photo just so you know what one I'm on about, and I'll link it below as well. Any products that I mentioned I'll link, and I'll also link Danielle's account as well. The lip cream is just amazing. Things like Vaseline, Burt's Bees, all of that, none of it worked. The Blistex lip cream was so much better than all the other products, and I'd highly recommend that. I'd kind of just put it all over my lips, all around my lips, and it was amazing. So go and get yourself some of that, even if you're not on ROACCUTANE, it's great. Also a lip scrub. So you will obviously have much drier lips, more flakiness, not that attractive. So get yourself a lip scrub. Don't do it too often, but it will just help you to get rid of any dead skin that you don't want. In terms of a cleanser, so you obviously want to be still removing your makeup well and getting rid of any oils, any bacteria, dirt, whatever from your skin. So a good cleanser is the La Roche-Posay, I think I said that right. The La Roche-Posay cleanser. I find that that's a really good brand because it's a little bit more on the expensive side. I really enjoy this cleanser because a lot of dermatologists will actually recommend this product. All of the products that you want to be using need to be natural as possible. You don't want to be using anything with harsh chemicals, alcohols, anything that will dry your skin out, any spot creams. Stay away from that. You just want to focus on moisturising and natural products. For moisturiser, I would recommend going for a very hydrating moisturiser with SPF in. You always want to use SPF on your face anyway, but especially when you're on the medication and recovering. So when you're on the medication, you'll be told by the dermatologist to stay away from sunbeds, don't sunbathe. Just be really careful. You want to be using a much higher factor sun cream as well. So by having SPF in your face cream, it's just so much easier. Every single day you're using it, you're always protected, and it's a really lovely moisturiser as well.
Did I even say what it's called?
It's the Kiehl's Factor 30 moisturiser. Another product that I really liked for my dry skin was the Aveeno hand and body creams. I really struggled with dry ankles and dry hands when I was on the medication. I don't know why, it was my ankles. It makes more sense in my hands, but my ankles, I wasn't really sure. This moisturiser is so natural, really thick, and it really did the job. I really would recommend this product to anyone who is on the medication. I've had a few questions about the skincare products that I use now as well. If you would like me to do a separate video about my current skincare routine, so that will cover some products that I use to help with my scarring as well, just comment down below or send me a message or something and I'll make sure to film a video on that. But I've had a question saying, how did ROACCUTANE affect my mood? And I would say it's a bit of a roller coaster. You know, you have your good days and you have your bad days. It's different for everyone. You know, I feel like I coped quite well with it. Someone with a history of mental health issues, they might struggle with it a little bit more. It's very personal. My top bit of advice would be go to every single dermatologist appointment you have. Make sure you don't miss any, because you really want to go and keep up to date with them. Talk to them about how you feel. It might be that the dosage has got a little bit high for you and you're just not coping as well with it, so they will advise you on what to do next. Also, your skin will get worse before it gets better. I know no one wants to hear that, but it's the reality of, you know, getting rid of your acne. So be prepared to have quite bad acne. I'd say for me it was around the mid stage. So months 3 and 4, I would say my skin was at its worst. But it was no worse than what it had been previously, if that makes sense. I had already experienced acne that was that bad before, so I had my down days. Some days I'd think, you know, why is my boyfriend with me? Like, why does he find me attractive? Does he find me attractive? I would be too self-conscious to go out without makeup on, or to go out at all, actually, some days. But if you have acne at the moment anyway, you know that that's just something that you have to deal with. So at least you know that it's getting better, and it will get better. You just have to stick with it. But again, talk to your dermatologist, talk to friends, family. I'm always here. I'm more than happy to, you know, answer any questions, or even just to talk to you about how you're feeling. I'm more than happy to do that. Sometimes it's nice to speak to someone who you can relate to and who knows what you're going through. My last question is, how long did the side effects last? I'd say about 6 months after, my skin was back to normal and I was fine to use any products that I wanted to use. But like I mentioned previously, for the first few months of coming off the medication, you still want to be careful about what you're using on your skin and how you're treating it as well. But yeah, it was fine. That's all the questions answered. If you have anything else that I haven't covered in this video, please comment down below and I will be sure to reply to those comments. If you wanted to message me on my Instagram, I'll leave that down below as well, so you can contact me there, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions or concerns. Again, I'm not a dermatologist. I don't know what I'm on about really. I can just speak from experience. So I hope that my experience helps some of you. I'm sure, you know, you can take something away from this. I hope you can take something away from this. And good luck to anyone who's on it. Please stick with it. It's such a life changer and you'll be so happy that you went through it all at the end. But yeah, stick with it. Good luck. So I'm gonna insert the footage of my skin now. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope that this was helpful for you. Give it a like if it was, and thank you for watching.